welcome you to Kyle Field and the run out for the Aggies of Texas A&M. It's ESPN College Football presented by Vizio. Today they host the Auburn Tigers, who know that the path to the college football playoff will run through the plains at Auburn in the next few weeks, with the Tigers hosting Georgia and Alabama, hoping to prove that a two-loss team is worthy of a playoff. As we welcome you to Aggieland, Beth Mowens along with Anthony Becht. Before any of that, though, for Auburn, they have to take care of business here today. And in order to do that, it might need to be a big homecoming for their quarterback and Texas native, Jarrett Stidham.
You're right. Ever since he stepped on campus, he's really been anointed the savior. And he's bringing the balance now that the Gus Malzahn offense needs that they didn't have last year. When you watch him on film, he has a great deep ball, brings excitement down the field, accuracy, ball placement has been fantastic. But he also has athleticism. He'll pull that ball out on the read option, and he'll make you pay in the run game. And then behind him becomes the big man, Kerryon Johnson. This guy is a physical downhill SEC runner. Everything he does is strength, power, poise. And then they'll line him up in the Wildcat too. And you got to deal with him on the inside runs, the jet sweeps. Again, 1-2 punch players that you have to make sure you clamp down on if you're a defense.
It is a monster month set up for Auburn, but Rocky Boyman, can a freshman quarterback spoil it for A&M today?
It's going to be Kellen Mond as starting quarterback for A&M, and I think it's important today, Beth, that they allow Kellen Mond to be Kellen Mond. That means use his legs, allow him to scramble. That's his identity. That's the style of quarterback he is. A&M's offensive line is not going to be able to consistently block their D-line. Kellen Mond with his legs has got to be key today.
Auburn won the toss and deferred, so Rocky, we will see Kellen Mond right away here. The Aggies set to receive with one of the most dangerous return guys in all of college football, Christian Kirk, one of the deep men, along with Travion Williams. Daniel Carlson is the All-America candidate kicker for the Auburn Tigers. And the ball has spilled off the tee. It's a maroon out today. They are expecting over 100,000 at Kyle Field. 11 a.m. start local time, so they're still trickling in. And what is one of the best environments in all of college football, but you can toss out the home field advantage. Since the Aggies joined the league, the visitors have won all 5 meetings between these two, and it's a touchback. And Kellen Mond will get things going for the Aggies. The true freshman out of San Antonio, making his 8th career start and coming off a tough one in the loss to Mississippi State.
Rocky talked about it. Catch me if you can. They must run the ball with him in some designed runs. He's extremely dangerous on third downs because of the ability to move in the pocket. And can he be a consistent passer, Beth? Missed multiple throws last week against Mississippi State. Can he generate some offense with his arm?
Offensive coordinator Noel Mazzoni looking to help him out with a stronger running game. They have not rushed for over 100 yards in each of their last 3 outings. And Mond will go to Williams out of the backfield for no gain. May have lost a yard. How about our impact players today?
Well, it starts in the backfield. Travion Williams is a key back for them. They have to get him going. Christian Kirk has to get the ball in his hands, explosive. Jess Holland is a premier pass rusher. And finally, Auburn gets back. Trey Matthews on the back end, a strong safety.
On the ground, and a dash play right up the middle. Travion Williams all the way down to the Auburn 35-yard line. And a gain of 40.
QB read option. They got that defensive end coming hard on the quarterback. Huge gaping hole. Look at the speed. They got to get Williams going. The tempo is moving now for this A&M offense.
Kevin Sumlin said they wanted to shake things up a bit this week and go with more up-tempo. This is Mond calling his own number. And a gain of a couple. Rocky?
And we already saw it early, just the threat of Mond being in there as a runner. The defensive end has to stay out on him. He can't crash down on that running back. You see this game plan working early here.
And they really wanted the reads to be better from the quarterback, when to hand it off, when to pull it. Great job there. That'll slow down the defensive ends, Rocky, and that'll be when the quarterback gets the big runs.
Their top receiver, Christian Kirk, is slotted to the right. Here on 2nd and 8. Williams is the motion man. Mond looking for Kirk, and he's got him down to the 29-yard line. They'd like to reestablish Christian as a playmaker. He's now just a couple of catches away from 200 for his career.
Coming into the season, Beth, big NFL prospect. He still is. He just hasn't been able to get the ball in their hands. He only has, well, he has 5 touchdowns. He should have about 5 more with this offense.
Looking at a 3rd and 4.
I think he thought he touched the offensive lineman. They didn't call a flag. They get lucky on that one.
Dontavius Russell able to jump back. Empty set out of the gun. And the throw for a first down to the 24 is to Kirk.
And right there, the A&M offensive line, when that defensive player comes across, they got to touch him, and that would have drawn the flag. They didn't. Now it's a first down.
That's a great point, Rocky. You see that movement cross that far, you just make a subtle set, you get that flag.
On 1st and 10. And a good time to note, as you guys are talking about that, it is now the 5th different offensive line starting unit as Keaton Sutherland has moved from left tackle over to, or from right tackle to left guard, and true freshman Carson Green is now the new starting left guard.
Beth, they were embarrassed last week, no questions about it. Receivers were dropping balls, quarterback was off. They want to come and bounce back in this game. I want to see these young players and see how they resilient.
Mond in trouble and is able to throw it away. That was Jeff Holland, who has the most sacks of any Power 5 rusher, bringing some heat on Mond. Jeff, the junior out of Jacksonville, Florida.
He came in with 30-plus QB rushes, pressures against. He's one of the best sackers, TFL guys, and you've got to deal with him, whether it's chipping him or helping the tackle in protection. He is a game wrecker for this defense.
And he is lined up with the youngster, Green, at right tackle. And now they'll move him to the other side of the line with 5 wideouts here for A&M. Mond looking for Williams out of the backfield. He spotted the fact that they had a linebacker on him, but overthrew Travion. And it's 4th down, and here comes the kicking unit. 2 outstanding place kickers in our game today. A couple of Groza semifinalists, and this is Daniel LaCamera. 14 of 16 on the year. And this will be from 39 yards. The opening drive for the Aggies gets some points on the board and an early 3-0 lead for Texas A&M. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Auburn Tigers at 6-2, 4-1 in the SEC. And their early season showdown, they lost at Clemson, giving up 11 sacks on the day. Tigers right now are a playoff team, but then they won 4 in a row, including several big blowouts in the league. And then the tough loss on the road at LSU after they were up 20-zip. And then the nice bounce back and a blowout win over Arkansas. They ran for 345 on the ground. And for Gus Malzahn's club, they're coming off a bye week where Gus, as a head coach at Auburn, is 6-0. And looking to stay in the chase in the SEC West, and an outside shot still at a playoff berth. Let's check into the studio now and Adnan Vert.
All right, Beth, thank you very much. There's the LL Bean studio update, letting you know what's happening. Some early action here with Mississippi State. How about JT Gray, the pick 6? First interception and first touchdown of his career. Bulldogs 6-2 right now, up 7-0. Although UMass just kicked a field goal, 7-3. It's on the SEC Network. Beth?
Thank you, Adnan. Well, the Tigers and their new sophomore quarterback this year, Jarrett Stidham, out of Stephenville, Texas, coming back home. to the Lone Star State for the first time as the starter.
It creates a lot of movement, extends plays. He's extremely accurate in the arm talent, Beth. 11 plays of over 40-plus yards in the passing game. He's changed the dynamic of this offense.
Anchored by a strong run game. That is Kerryon Johnson getting the call. Auburn does not have their other running back, Cameron Petway, out with a shoulder injury or suffered a couple of weeks ago. So not the same 1-2 punch, Anthony, as usual.
You're right, but Kerryon Johnson's going to get 20-plus carries in this game. He's the workhorse for this offense.
Maybe the best running back that isn't getting a whole lot of national attention. He leads the SEC. Here's the pass out to Ryan Davis. Rocky?
Yeah, I think that today is an important day for this Auburn offense to audition another running back. Kerryon Johnson's a beast, but I don't think he's a guy with Georgia and Auburn coming up. You want getting 30 carries a game, so maybe it's Barrett, maybe it's Cam Martin, maybe it's Malik Miller, the bigger guy. You got to find someone else to get some of those runs and break some of those that wear and tear up for Kerryon.
Johnson taking the direct snap on 3rd and 1, and he will blitz his way right up the middle, and they'll move the chains.
A lot of starts up front for this offensive line. They got a key player back, number 50, Casey Dunn. He was injured. They got some guys nicked up on the inside. Number 71, Brandon Smith, also is one of their best mauling run blockers on the football team.
Now they line up Johnson as a receiver and bring him into the backfield, and they'll flip it to Eli Stove, and he's going to get caught behind the line of scrimmage and thrown down around the 33-yard line, a loss of a couple.
Got to stay home if you're a defensive player. You got to be able to attack. A lot of movements, misdirections, Beth, with this offense. Got to be on your toes and trust your eyes if you're a linebacker or DB for A&M.
That was Armani Watts and Jarrett Johnson. Stidham on 2nd down. Coming back for the catches, Davis, and he explodes into the secondary. The nice cut around the 35 and down to the 31-yard line. 35 yards on the game.
We talked about the center, number 50. Well, there's a reason why. Watch him come out here and chop it down on the outside, giving a huge opportunity for the receiver to make the play. Ball gets out of the hands, and they get an explosive play right off the jump.
Johnson up the middle for a few more. Kerryon, the junior out of Huntsville, Alabama, at 120 yards a game, and his 14 rushing touchdowns are tied with Lamar Jackson for the most in the Power 5. Jackson, last year's Heisman Trophy winner at quarterback for Louisville. Stove with the catch, and down he goes immediately. Sophomore out of Niceville, Florida, and it's 3rd down. Actually lost a few there.
Ball placement we talked about with Stidham. That's something I really like on tape. These quick throws to the outside, people watching it from TV, they think that's easy. It's one of the toughest throws for a quarterback. Left side, right side, and then to come back down the field. So he's really done well in that part of the offense.
On 3rd and 10, Stidham drops it off underneath Johnson. He's going to be near the marker.
We just saw him go for a 3rd and short. You get 4th down, you got that wildcat potentially, a lot of options. I'm thinking they should go for this if I'm the offensive coordinator. It looks like, Beth, they're going to play it safe, though, and go for a field goal.
Just a little bit short, and it's 4th down. And they'll bring out Daniel Carlson, the SEC's career scoring leader.
Ref just fell down.
And a 39-yard attempt to match the one that LaCamera made a moment ago. And they're going to fake it. They're going to run for it, and down inside the 20. Good for the 1st down, but there's a flag on the play. As Tyler Stovall, the holder, ran for it and got it.
Holding. Offense number 73. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. 4th down.
Okay, let me weigh this out. Okay, let's let the holder run it or Kerryon Johnson. To me, you're 4th and short. Get your big dog. He's the #1 rusher in the SEC. Hand it off and let him run it. Now you're running a play you've tried to practice. these linemen aren't in the right techniques. They're trying to protect in field goal. When they reach their arms out, it looks like they're holding. You can't do that. It's not normal. Missed opportunity. Now it's tough on the field goal kicker, too.
Now it's a 49-yard attempt for Carlson, as long as 54. And it's blocked. Blocked by the Aggies. Missed opportunity for Auburn. A penalty on the faked field goal that was good for a first down, and now it gets blocked.
ESPN College Football is presented by Vizio, maker of award-winning 4K displays, and in part by Lexus. Experience amazing.
Now the core of cadets and Reveille here at Kyle Field. Texas A&M with a 3-0 lead over the Auburn Tigers. Justin Matabuke just blocked a 48-yard field goal attempt. And so Kellen Mond and the offense will take over at their own 32, and Mond is hauled down and sacked. T.D. Moultrie took him down.
Yeah, check out Justin Matabuke right there over top, the center. And he's just going to come through, get some great push. He's got to put his hand up. True freshman making plays. That's what you like to see from this Texas A&M team. Bouncing back. That's a huge start, Beth, off a good drive by Auburn.
And some questions, Anthony, about the play calling there after they went for it on a 4th and short with a fake field goal, that they got the first down, but it ended up being called back.
Yeah, for me, I totally disagree. Again, you got the best running back in the SEC. Yards-wise, I want to give him the rock in that short distance. Let your lineman come off the ball. I think it's a poor choice on that circumstance.
Defense helping him out right here, though. It's quickly 3rd and 11. 5 DBs, so they're in the nickel. Empty set for Mond. Kellen incomplete. Good coverage that time. It was intended for Keith Ford. Jeremiah Denson had the coverage.
You know, circumstances, obviously, Beth, with the quarterback. And we talked to Noel Mazzoni, and he talked about cutting down the reads for the quarterback. In that circumstance, when you're backed up 3rd down, that's not going to be the best location for them. Going back to the sack, you got to get the ball out of your hands quickly. If not, you're in a bad spot for your quarterback. They just wanted him to read and react and potentially run the football.
Shane Trapuka set to kick it away here to Stephen Roberts. Roberts with the fair catch at the 24-yard line. 3-0 Aggies here in the first. Sophomore quarterback Jarrett Stidham is a Texas native. Started out playing at Stephenville High School. Gaudy numbers, one of the top recruits. In fact, the #1 dual threat guy coming out of high school. He originally committed to Texas Tech, but then signed with Baylor, where he played a season, and then with all the controversy and the scandal, he left. Transferred to a junior college in Waco. Did not play there, so he's been a year away from the game, and then enrolled in Auburn in January and won the QB battle with Sean White to take over. And now his return to his home state here with a lot on the line for Auburn at 6-2. Still in the chase in the SEC West, as well as an outside shot at the playoff. And he's hauled down there by this Aggie defense that leads the SEC in sacks.
It's a great job by the true freshman. Freshman stepping up, 93 Petey. Look at him just pushing back the guard, getting in the face of the quarterback. Keep him in the pocket, get pressure in the middle. Gotta love how some of these young playmakers are stepping up for Texas A&M today.
This is Johnson. A lot of Texas A&M defenders moving on him quickly. May have gotten back to the 20. It's going to bring up 3rd and long. Terrell Dodson, the leading tackler, got some help from Armani Watts.
Third down and long. This gives John Chavis a lot of options here to be disruptive on defense.
Dodson lurking, spying on the quarterback, and he chases him down. Dodson waited for his moment and then seized upon the quarterback at the 21 to force the punting situation.
Dodson's been a stud all year. This kid is a young talent that's going to eyeball and watch the quarterback, not let him be dangerous. See him floating around, stay away from the traffic, the offensive line, and then get on the point to make the big tackle.
If I'm Auburn, I do not kick to Christian Kirk. That's probably one of the only significant advantages A&M has in the kicking game here.
5 career punt return touchdowns. They do not kick it towards Kirk, and it will roll out of bounds inside the 30-yard line. Well, later today on ABC, a couple of great matchups from the ACC. First up, the defending champs Clemson at NC State. And then undefeated Miami. Can they stay that way at home against Virginia Tech? It's also streaming live on your ESPN app. They are on opposite sides of the standings, so the winners of these games today, a commanding presence and in the driver's seat to get to that ACC champ game.
Yeah, you're right, and still showing a lot of respect for Clemson, even though they lost against Syracuse. And Miami just grinding it out week in and week out. Close games, still undefeated.
Clemson 4th in the playoff ranking. Miami coming in 10th in the initial release this week. Keith Ford on the run. Marlon Davidson with the tackle. What did you think? 2 SEC teams at the top, Anthony. You go Georgia, Alabama, followed by Notre Dame and Clemson in this initial release.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I'm really impressed by Notre Dame. I hate saying it because we got Rocky here with us, but it's just is what it is. They're that good, and there's no question Georgia, Alabama are the 2 best teams in the country.
Rocky Stellar with the Irish several years ago. Williams, another short game. Rocky?
Yeah, I know a lot of Alabama fans were upset that Georgia's ranked number 1, but look, they have the best win in college football, beating the Irish, and plus them scoring 40 points per game, over 45 times this year. I think you go by record. I think we get too caught up in this eye candy business, or excuse me, eye test business, right? Like, this team looks better than this one. The record should count. Georgia's the best.
And Alabama will have some chances in the coming month, including Auburn and possibly Georgia in an SEC championship game. Mond, the quick release, incomplete. Looking for Williams. And here comes the punter once again. They scored the field goal on the initial drive of the day. And now Kellen Mond has missed on his last 4 attempts, Anthony.
Watch Denton here, untouched, coming in, just provides a little bit of pressure. If you watch Mississippi State's defense last week, they brought a lot of different guys, dropped some players, and confused the offensive line up front. Right there, a free man. Might not have got to him there, but moving forward, that could be an issue.
Roberts. Fair catch at the 16. Just under 3 minutes to go in the quarter and a 3-0 A&M lead.
And Burke back in our college football studios updating you. That's right, Randy Shannon era begins for the Florida Gators as Coach McElwain was dismissed, but it's Missouri on the board first. Drew Lock to Kendall Blanton. Take a look at the tiptoeing work of Blanton. It's over on ESPN2. Missouri's up 7-0. Beth, back to you.
Thank you, Ed. Mizzou looking for their first SEC win, and that's another transfer quarterback there. Malik Zaire getting the call at quarterback for Florida in his first start since transferring from Notre Dame. Of course, Jarrett Stidham, who started out at Baylor and now the starting quarterback at Auburn. Some guys with SEC ties. Your guy Will Greer at West Virginia has had the most success so far.
Not bad, 28 touchdowns. Just got to get a convincing win. Iowa State today, we'll see how that goes.
What a job that Iowa State has done so far. And Eli Stove gets another touch out to the 29. A late flag after Stove picked up the first down, and a tackle by Derek Tucker, and a gain of 12.
Yeah, they're going to get Craig Myers, number 3, Nate Craig Myers, with a hole on the outside. It looked like a clean block. Might have got his arms outside, but you see Stove now, 2 jet sweeps. They like him in the slot, movable piece, got a lot of speed. These are some of the things you got to deal with defensively, Beth, with misdirection.
And I think with how aggressive Texas A&M's defense is, they want to get upfield, second in the nation sacks. I think screens and stuff outside perimeter runs are a good bet.
He's number 3 right there.
Again, that's a great picture.
Offense number 3. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
Pulls the outside of the shoulder pad, and unfortunately, as a receiver, you got to get your hands inside. Nate Craig Myers is only a sophomore. Good coaching point there to get those balls inside, Beth.
Yep. All the way back at their own 15-yard line. Stidham in trouble. Wrapped up, and down he goes again. Landis Durham. Junior out of Plano, Texas got him.
Well, Durham's got 6.5 sacks. Add another one. He's on the outside, just gets great push. I thought Stidham should have dumped this ball off quick to the inside receiver. He chooses not to. Nice underneath dip to get around it. Huge advantage. Texas A&M defense coming off the ball with some authority today in this first quarter.
Couple of sacks already for the team that is best at it in the Southeastern Conference. Johnson stuffed right at the line, and a big hit. Terrell Dodson and the rookie Anthony Haynes, the true freshman out of Plano, Texas.
Yeah, I'd say I don't miss those collisions. Fullbacks, wrappers coming in middle, interior, hitting guys like Rocky Boyman. Dodson right there just immediately just came downhill and blew that whole thing up.
Back at the 10 now, 3rd and 15. Setting up the screen for Johnson, breaks a tackle in the backfield. Gets back to the initial line of scrimmage, and that'll be it. Armani Watts finally brought him down.
Tell you what, with what A&M is doing defensively, they're getting Auburn behind the chains, and that plays right into their identity. They come off the ball fast. They attack, so Auburn's got to do a better job of keeping pace, right? Getting in those second and short kind of situations. This is also taking away Auburn's run game.
Hey, Rocky, last week, a lot of juice to start that game, too. They got a turnover early on. This offense has to pay the price back and get the ball down the field to try to score this possession.
Just 7 yards rushing so far for Auburn. And A&M will have it at their own 35 after the 47-yard punt. Well, the other big news coming out of Auburn this week was Jay Jacobs, their athletic director, announcing that he will be stepping down in June, if not sooner. His statement, the last several months have been a particularly difficult time across several sports, in particular men's basketball and the women's softball program. A series of controversies have arisen. This from Jay Jacobs, the AD, the last 13 years. He hired Gus Malzahn. He played at Auburn and is a lifer and a local guy who grew up on the Plains, and he will be stepping down as athletic director. The carry is Travion Williams, the sophomore out of Houston.
I want everyone to watch number 5, Derek Brown, Auburn defensive lineman, just a sophomore, but man, he commands double teams all day long. Wreaks havoc.
They ran away from him that time with Williams.
Yeah, Rocky's right. He's stout at the point of attack. He's coming off now on this 3rd down package, but he's a sophomore. He shows up every single tape, driving linemen back, just annihilating. Coaches say he's been dominant so far.
1 quarter is in the books. A 3-0 lead for Texas A&M. The Aggies with a big 3rd down coming up when we return to Kyle Field. Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by Vizio. We're in the home of the 12th man here at Kyle Field. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Maroon out this afternoon, expecting 100,000 for this matchup, and a big 3rd down and 6 to start this second quarter. Mond gets the pass away, and it's broken up, incomplete. Carlton Davis had the coverage on Damon Ratley, and it's 4th down.
You know, a lot of throws right out from the pocket for Mond. I'd like to get some movement with him, try to get him out of the pocket, let him see multiple receivers instead of just trying to find one. Beth, right there, the slant was perfectly covered by the defense.
And this is where, again, I think they should run Mond a little bit more. When you run the quarterback, it gets the defense out of man-to-man coverage. Run him a little bit, that softens that defense up.
Hit on his first 3 throws today, but now has missed on 5 straight. And Auburn will take over at their own 25 after the 37-yard punt. Well, the Aggies so far have been bringing the pressure. A couple of sacks, Anthony.
Yeah, nice job so far. Pressing the pocket in the middle, getting the push that they need, and then coming around the edge, mixing it up. Durham does a nice job getting his 7.5 sack on the season, and then downhill running hasn't been effective so far for Auburn. Dotson wants everybody in on the party there, making some big plays.
Under the direction of John Chavis. Cam Martin is now in at running back. Auburn playing without Cameron Petway today, out with an injury. And out of the backfield, it's Chandler Cox out to the 30-yard line. To the studio now, and Adnan.
All right, Beth, thank you very much. It's our AT&T Field Pass. How about some Big Ten football between Penn State and Michigan State? Of course, the Lions trying to recover after last year's loss to Ohio State. Darrell Stewart Jr. there with the touchdown. Beth?
Thank you, Adnan. Quick tempo here from the Tigers. Martin, who is a Texas native, the sophomore out of Port Arthur in Memorial High School. Could see more of him with Petway out today, and possibly for the next several weeks. No timetable yet on Petway's return. On 1st down, another big run right up the middle with Martin and a gain of 9.
Cox, it's going to be all day with number 27, Cox and Dotson, and all these linebackers. They're going to meet each other in the hole. He's number 27 right here. He's done a nice job of really making that contact and hit.
He's the first guy into the hole again, with Martin following behind him.
Eye discipline has got to be so key for the linebackers and the safeties for A&M. Auburn, a lot of guys motioning around. They'll pull 1, sometimes 2 offensive linemen. They got to know their keys and fundamentals.
First and 10 from just across midfield. Play action. Stidham out of the pocket, fires it downfield, and the catch is made inside the 40. Just short of the marker to Ryan Davis.
Yeah. Did he get his feet in? This is great concentration. Absolutely. He holds that ball, gets 1 foot in for sure. He's the target. Number 23, Davis, he's the one. Stidham one that gets the ball to throughout this game.
The pitch to Martin, and he's got the 1st down to the 36-yard line, wrapped up by Keldrick Carper.
Take another way to slow down this aggressive A&M defensive front is the tempo. We saw the tempo return a couple weeks ago versus Arkansas, and we're seeing it more here today.
Stidham 8 for 8, 71 yards through the air. They go back to Kerryon Johnson. 2 tight end set here for Auburn on 1st down. On the ground, Johnson patient and picks up 4 or 5.
Gets the most carries of any SEC back, averages 23 a game. He's a workhorse and one of the better backs in the conference.
Missed out on a couple of games with a hamstring injury, including the Clemson loss, which the playoff committee would have to consider if it were to come down to that discussion at the end of the year. Petway, the delay, and jets down inside the 20. Johnson. And a gain of 13 for Kerryon.
Yeah, we're talking about pullers. Number 77, get right in there. Look at that gap. And Kerryon Johnson never misses that kind of hole.
Boy, after the run game was stagnant that first quarter, Anthony, they've really opened it up behind this O-line here in the second quarter.
Yeah, they finally got everybody back, healthy. Especially we saw Dunn early with a nice kick-out block on a receiver screen. Number 50, the center. Number 71, the guards. Number 77, Harrell. They move them around. They're big, 300-plus pound guys that are agile and strong at the point of attack.
Gus Malzahn went running down the sideline there to call a timeout. And we will take it with them. Auburn trailing, but they are on the move. Here's today's Aflac trivia question. With a win today and a loss by Kentucky, Georgia will clinch the SEC East. When was the last time a team from the East won the SEC championship? It has been a while, gents. The West has ruled, including Auburn winning a couple of times. Kerryon Johnson is the offset back here on second down. The Tigers into the red zone, their first serious threat of the day on the 10th play of the drive. Stidham, the quick release. Hastings down inside the 5 to the 4, and it's first and goal Auburn.
Yeah, Hastings reminds me of Ryan Switzer, one of those premier movement type of receivers, plays with the Cowboys now, very quick. Definitely a target inside that poses a mismatch with his movement skills.
He is slotted to the left. Johnson, right up the middle, got down to the 2 and ran into Armani Watts. Well, this Auburn offense, how about that? 23 of 24 red zone trips against SEC opponents. 18 of those have been touchdowns. Second and goal here.
This is where the quarterback could be a factor, too, in the run game.
The fake. Johnson open in the flat. Touchdown, Auburn. And the Texas native Jarrett Stidham opens the day 10 for 10. And now a touchdown pass.
You've seen Stove already come across and run 2 jet sweeps. Well, they utilize him in some action. Pull some guys out, a little quick dump pass with the movement to Johnson. Great awareness to pop that ball out and get it over the end zone.
Carlson for Auburn's 177th consecutive PAT, and he's got it. 7-3, Tigers in front.
Keeps putting touchdowns and even more touchdowns on his resume. Kerryon Johnson with his 16th touchdown on the season.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Volkswagen.
Auburn Tigers go 75 yards in under 4 minutes, and they grab the lead 7-3 on the road against Texas A&M. And how about the Stephenville, Texas native Jarrett Stidham coming back home and a perfect 10 for 10 start, Anthony?
It's target practice for this young man. He's just picking and choosing his receivers, his backs. He's moving his ball around everywhere. Great placement. Hard to stop right now when he gets in that kind of groove.
And the most important thing we're seeing, Anthony, is getting the ball out of his hand quick. I think early on, look, he was out of football for a year and a half, and he was holding on that ball too long. Now we're seeing that thing come out of his hand.
He was tossing it around with the Midway High School wide receivers in Waco last year, and now on a little bit bigger stage, trying to get Auburn home and a matchup with Georgia next week. Let's check into the studio now on Adnan.
All right, thanks very much, Beth. First, I want to update you what's happening with Penn State and Michigan State on 4th and 8. Nittany Lions going for it. Trace McSorley to Saeed Blacknall. It's 14-7 right now from Nittany Lions in East Lansing, almost through 1. Florida, Missouri is on ESPN2 on second and goal. It's Larry Roundtree after a 98-yard drive, 14-0 Tigers. B?
Wow, a 2-touchdown deficit for Florida and their interim head coach, Randy Shannon, after they parted ways with Jim McElwain this week. 3 straight 3 and outs for the Aggie offense. Kellen Mond will try and change that here. Keith Ford is the back. Mond keeps. And he'll toss it away. Jeff Holland was the guy that busted it up.
Well, you know, what's the answer, right? Kevin Sumlin can only hold his quarterback for so long. He wants to protect him because from a maturity standpoint, physically he's not there. But you got to run this young man. Let him make some choices right there. They closed it down. They had an RPO. But design QB runs with a lead blocker have been significant gains for this offense in the past.
A quick hitter to the outside. Ratley. And they're behind the 8 ball again here. Carlton Davis had the coverage. And a loss of 2. Mond on the day so far, 4 for 10. A couple of carries for negative yardage.
Yeah, you don't want to be in this situation behind the sticks. This is not where the quarterback needs to be. And at this point, you got to protect the football. Don't make mistakes. Again, you might see another quick pass just to try to get something.
Had Kirk running underneath, but instead he'll dump it off to Ford. Gets out across the 30. And that was not enough. 9 yards he got back, and then some John with some of the Tigers after the play. It's 4th down. So a 4th consecutive 3 and out. The punter, Shane Trapuka, the senior from Allen, Texas, comes on. Stephen Roberts back at his own 21 for Auburn. Trapuka, 9th best in the country with a 46-yard average. And a nice boot here will chase Roberts back inside his own 15 and a 54-yard punt. All right, time for our trivia question and answer. Georgia can clinch the East today with some help from a Kentucky loss. When was the last time, though, that the East beat the West in the SEC final?
I'm just going to go out. I'm going to guess Auburn. Cam Newton maybe's the last time. That's what I'll throw out there. And it's wrong.
that would be the Florida Gators of Tim Tebow winning for the East, Anthony. Winning for the East over the West. Auburn did win a couple of times.
A lot of announcers get fed the answer. I'm not afraid to get it wrong once in a while, Beth.
There you go.
It was a good question.
That's our Aflac trivia question. Yeah, they've won 8 straight, has the West. Of course, Alabama with 3 in a row. The record Florida Gators had 5 straight when they first started playing the SEC title game in the early 90s. A gain of 8 for Kerryon Johnson. 9 rushes for 36 yards now for Kerryon. He's going to get it again, and he'll bull his way right up the middle for the first down.
Such a physical runner downhill. You saw him that first run, Beth. He uses that off arm that doesn't have the football, and he's so violent with it.
Yep.
You know, Marshawn Lynch comes to mind. Guys that just chuck defenders when they come around him. He's got that same kind of mentality when he gets to the perimeter.
And the run game has been such a staple for Auburn of late. Stidham has the time with the deep ball, incomplete. That was intended for Stove.
Anthony, you mentioned the stiff arm of Kerryon Johnson. I can tell you as a former linebacker, that really affects how you approach the tackle. You don't know whether to go low. If you go too low, you wind up coming up for air, but you know if you come around that midsection, you're going to get a big palm right in your helmet.
And the problem is for this defense, if he gets to the 2nd and 3rd level, you're talking about smaller guys that he has to toss around.
Stidham looked like he had a problem with the snap. And will lose a yard. That last misfire, by the way, was his first errant pass of the day. And now it's 3rd down.
Looks like the snap came a little too quick or early. Stidham wasn't ready for it. Again, that hurts. 3rd and long. Texas A&M defense got to get off the field. Try to make a play here. They're going to go man-to-man across the board. See if they can get some outside rush.
Coming. They've got Stidham boxed in, and they'll take him down at the 29-yard line. Larry Pryor coming up from the secondary. And it's 4th down.
He's very close to getting out of there, but again, you got to have a player that keeps eyeballs on the quarterback. So when he leaks through like this, Johnny on the spot, Pryor's turn to be that spy and make a great tackle.
Aiden Marshall back to punt to Christian Kirk here. Kirk goes one way, and the punt went the other way, and fortunately for the Aggies, it trickles into the end zone. Looked like they were trying to set up something special right there. Kellen Mond without his helmet right now as the offense sets to return for A&M. Taco Bell is a proud partner of the college football playoffs, so be on the lookout for Taco Bell student sections and passionate fans like these at games all season long. Quarterback change for Texas A&M. Kellen Mond is out. Nick Starkel, who was their starting quarterback in their season opener and then got hurt, returned last weekend in the fourth quarter, and now he's back here on in relief in the second quarter of Mond. And the give is to Keith Ford.
Got to generate some offense. 6'3", 215. He's a pocket passer. Now, he came in last week, Beth. Was a little shaky. Missed some completions, had a pick six, then threw a bomb for a touchdown. But he's a guy that can get the ball down the field and try to stretch this defense. Because right now, all these short passes are not accumulating yards for Texas A&M.
And a guy who can find Christian Kirk right there for the first down. Mond, after 4 straight 3-and-outs, stays on the sideline, and really a couple of games struggling to get the offense moving for Texas A&M. The give again is to Keith Ford. Rocky?
I talked to Auburn defensive coordinator Kevin Steele before the game. He wasn't buying that we were only going to see Mond here today. They practiced 2 different game plans, one for Mond, who runs around, and then another one for Starkel, who's more of a pocket guy.
Kevin Allen, in his second season, has coached all around the SEC, including stops at Tennessee, LSU, and Alabama. Actually was a head coach here in Texas at Baylor. And going over the top, Starkel hooks up with Kirk down inside the 40-yard line. Over the top of Jamel Dean.
Well, he's one guy that may be happy that Starkel's back there. Just completely drops this over the top. Kirk does a nice job getting around the outside. Great concentration with the defender running right at him.
Over 200 catches now in his career for Christian Kirk. And Keith Ford rumbles right up the middle.
Then just a wheel route around the outside. Starkel coming off the bench cold, able to drop a dime in there. Perfect throw. That could get some more explosive plays for Christian Kirk moving forward in this game.
4 catches, 45 yards for Kirk. Again on the ground with Ford.
It's important for Starkel to get the ball out of his hands like we just saw on that long pass. Sometimes he holds the ball too long. He can't do that versus this aggressive Auburn defensive line.
Redshirt freshman out of Argyle, Texas. His 3rd appearance with 1 touchdown pass and 1 interception after he got hurt against UCLA in the opener. And Texas A&M lost that huge lead to the Bruins.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense number 54, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
That's the true freshman at right tackle, Carson Green, making his first career start today.
You can't make it difficult for the quarterback coming off the bench here. Got a nice manageable 3rd and short situation. Now it pushes you back into a 3rd and 8. Got to hold up in protection here. Auburn's able to bring some rushers. Number 4. Jeff Holland here, he's on the bottom, he's right on our screen right there, number 4. He's the guy that's going to present the problem on the edge.
Play action. Starkel does get it out quickly and down inside the 30-yard line. Then again, it's Christian Kirk.
Well, if you're on defense, get your antennas up now on number 3. Christian Kirk becomes a huge option with the new quarterback situation. Already 2 catches in this drive and a nice 3rd down catch to move the chains.
1st and 10 from the 29. Nick Starkel on in relief at quarterback. And the run game is opened up. Williams inside the 5. Aggies as he runs it for 28.
Little miscommunication on defense there for Auburn. They got a player down now on the field.
That's Carlton Davis, the cornerback.
Yeah, number 14 is saved. Watch this, they have a confusion. Linebacker's talking to the safety. He needs him, he wanted him to come down. Well, he runs down and opens up a huge gap. Watch this. He runs right by it, doesn't even realize it's a run. And that opens up a huge window. He might have been in the right spot initially, Beth.
Yeah, that was Deshaun Davis and Stephen Roberts trying to get set. That's a couple of upperclassmen, too. And Williams making them pay. 90 yards rushing now for Texas A&M. Remember, the last 3 games, they didn't hit the century mark on the ground. But things have opened up a bit now with Starkel on at quarterback. And the 1-2 punch of Williams and Ford.
Yeah, you talked about that 1-2 punch, Beth. They call him lightning and thunder. Well, number 7, Thunder, Keith Ford, is right next to the quarterback. I'm almost positive you want to get the ball in his hands this close to the goal line.
I'll put one of the tight ends, Tanner Shorp, in the backfield as well. Running it right up the middle. Terrific second effort by Ford to bounce to the outside. Touchdown Aggies as he blew past Daniel Thomas. Ninth rushing touchdown of the season for Ford. And the former quarterback, Kellen Mond, cheering on the new guy, Nick Starkel. PAT is good.
Big run to set this up. Williams up the middle, gets him down to where they need to be. And when you kind of try to bring down Thunder, you better bring the boom. If not, he'll make you pay.
Football Playoff Top 25 Ranking Show. Tuesday at 7 on ESPN. Presented by Goodyear.
Aggies move on top. Anthony's going to get animated with Beck's breakdown.
Yeah, watch Daniel Thomas come into the hole and try to attack and bring down Keith Ford Thunder. You better bring the thump. If you don't, bam. Look at that collision right there. That's big-time football. Ford bounces out. He kind of stares back and says, yeah, that was me. Boom. Great violence there. That's why they have him in the backfield, Beth. Talk about physicality. They were not a physical team last week. Much different football team today.
Looking back to see who he left behind, and it was Thomas. 9 plays, 80 yards under the direction of new quarterback Nick Starkel, and it's 10-7 A&M. Let's check in with Adnan.
All right, Beth, thank you very much. Coming up on the Lexus halftime report, Penn State trying to bounce back after that devastating loss against Ohio State as they're taking on Michigan State. Highlights from that game, plus the Randy Shannon era begins with Florida Gators as they're taking on Missouri, and it's always bedlam whenever Oklahoma and Oklahoma State meet, this time in Stillwater. Jesse Palmer, Joey Galloway, and me will look ahead to that and much more coming up at the half. Beth, back to you and Anthony.
Always bedlam indeed, Adnan. Who you like in that one?
I'll tell you, I mean, it's a close game. I always go with the home teams in those matchups. For me, this is even Steven between the both. The quarterbacks will be the most important keys in that football game. Whoever comes out big will be the winner.
Pass dropped out in the flat. That would be Mason Rudolph and Baker Mayfield in that showdown. Lee Corso picked the pokes, by the way, and started shooting the guns off, as he is wont to do whenever he's in Stillwater. Auburn now finding themselves behind. Stidham, who hit on his first 10 throws, has now missed on his last 2. Under 4 to go here in the first half. Johnson is offset, picks up a nice block. Stidham going deep, and he overthrows his man, Darius Slayton. It's 3rd and 10.
had a defender in his face that forced him to throw this ball a little sooner than he wanted. Number 81 is one of their fastest receivers. Slayton is there. He just cannot connect. Watch the pressure up front. Comes right in the middle of your screen. Number 93 just changes the trajectory for the quarterback's throw.
I'll tell you what, ever since Starkel's been in, the body language of this entire A&M sideline has changed. He's injected some energy. Big play on defense here, though.
Third and 10. And it's fourth down. Incomplete, looking for Slayton. Well, he's also injected some energy into the 12th man, making some noise there to help force the punt.
Yeah, Slayton's going to run a deep in route. This is clean. Stidham's just got to be accurate with it. Just gets the ball out ahead of him. Slayton not able to pull it down. Would have been enough for a first down. But again, you get to the quarterback, you start seeing some hits. You see the dirt and grass on the back of his jersey, Beth. That's never a good thing for a QB.
Again, they will keep it away from Kirk, and this one may be way short. At midfield, that's where Texas A&M will take it. Just a 25-yard punt. As we take a look at the first college football playoff rankings brought to you by Allstate, and it's Dogs, Tide, Irish, and Tigers.
And, you know, teams on the back end really need some help. You know, Penn State, they need a couple teams to lose several games. I know they're high at 7 with the loss, but it's going to be tough for them to get in. I think those two undefeated teams, a lot of people talking Wisconsin, Miami should be higher. But, again, they're doing their job week in and week out, getting W's.
I'm interested to see if Notre Dame can win out, which is a big if. They got some tough games coming up here. That could potentially put two conferences out of the playoff. Think about that.
Williams, plenty of room to roam. Terrific cut at the 20, and he takes it all the way down to the 10-yard line.
Beautiful play design. It's a shovel pass. Watch all the defenders get up the field. Easy flip to Williams. Nobody's home. Got some big uglies to block. A lot of field to run for the big game.
41 yards on the pickup. They'll run it up the middle with Travion, down to about the 7. What a jolt Nick Starkel has provided at quarterback. And some creative play calling here for the Aggies. Trips to the left. Starkel looking that way. To the corner. Incomplete. Cam Barkley, the true freshman, got a hand on it. Couldn't bring it in.
Well, Beth, if we go back in time, Starkel started the season as their top quarterback, led this team against UCLA, just misses that throw on the outside, but he put up a lot of points to start this football year. They had some confidence. Right now showing a little bit of that quarterback skill coming back. It's good to see some of this production now on this offensive side that was desperately needed for the Aggies.
That was his first incompletion. He's 4 for 5 so far. Williams will motion into the backfield. Looking for the exact same spot, going to Christian Kirk, and it's incomplete, and it's fourth down.
You know, you got a lot of space. There's no safeties in the back end. I want to see an option route. Let Christian Kirk try to beat him. It's a good job of number 14, Roberts, staying on that route. It has to be a perfect throw, Beth. If you give him a one-way go to the left or the right, now you can stick it in on him. Interesting play call.
Yeah, Christian Kirk only 5'11", a fade route like that. You think you want a taller wide receiver. I agree. Get him in space.
The camera is good from 39. This will be a 25-yard attempt. And he's got it. Scores on a couple of possessions for Texas A&M and a 13-7 lead. What you got for us, Adnan?
Well, Beth, updating you on what happened with Mississippi State and UMass. 13-all midway through the second. Ross Comas, who's a tourism management major, he's enjoying his trip to Starkville. There to Andy Isabella, 69 yards, 20-13 right now for UMass. It's on the SEC Network. Beth?
Thank you for the update and the academic update as well, Adnan. Reminder coming up here next on ESPN. How about Ohio State off of that huge win last week over Penn State? They got a tough one now on the road against the Iowa Hawkeyes. That's coming up next on ESPN, also streaming live on your ESPN app. Look at the pass to interception ratio for JT Barrett.
He's been amazing. One of the best quarterback performances I saw against Penn State. And I'll tell you, don't fall asleep on Iowa. Going on the road is a tough place. You better take and make sure that you're just as prepared as you were against Penn State with the emotions, Beth, as you are going against Iowa.
Barrett has worked his way back into the Heisman talk after that stunning fourth quarter comeback against Penn State last week. Braden Mann with the kickoff and a chance here for Igbenogany. And Noah will bring it out to about the 25. How about the latest Heismanology? This is Joe Tessitore polling some of the Heisman voters. Barkley still with a slight lead. If you haven't seen Khalil Tate, by the way, he's on Pac-12 After Dark tonight. And Josh Adams, big for the Fighting Irish. They're playing Wake Forest today. And then at Miami next week, Rocky.
Yeah, I think if Baker Mayfield has a big game today, I think he moves way up in contention there. He's doing it without a ton of just totally explosive weapons. I love the way he's playing right now. Big stage tonight for him.
I think Saquon Barkley's still the best player in college football, even with the loss, but we'll see how it flips out.
Texas A&M has seized the momentum in this one. They try the reverse with Eli Stove. The Aggies have scored on their last two possessions, and now all of a sudden Auburn, number 14 in the playoff ranking, hoping to stay alive in both the playoff chatter as well as the SEC West, in some trouble here. Trying to get things back on track under Jarrett Stidham, who started out the game 10 for 10 with a touchdown pass. Back to Kerryon Johnson. Dances to the outside, and that'll move the chains. Under 2 minutes to go in the half.
See his numbers, Beth, to start the game. Obviously, since that 10 for 10, 1 for 5, Texas A&M starting to key in a little bit, get to him pressure-wise, and force him to make some inconsistent passes. But with this first down, you got Kerryon Johnson. He's got to find a way to answer with that last score by Texas A&M.
Johnson will get the call again. Puts his shoulder down and puts a lick on the DB, Carper. And a gain of 9. Stops the clock, 1:46 to go. .58 yards now on the day for Kerryon, who's working without the injured Cameron Petway this afternoon. Play action, Stidham looking for Slayton, and he hauls it in at the 15-yard line and into the end zone. Touchdown, Tigers. The quick response from Auburn.
Yeah, he's going to run a post route, but outside release, the safety's not there. This is one-on-one. He actually fixes his gloves right before the ball drops in. Great concentration by Slayton. He's the big play guy. And what do we talk about? Down the field throws and ball placement. That's Jarrett Stidham's game right there.
53 yards on the post route. And Stidham's homecoming continues to be a good one, as the PAT gives Auburn the 1-point lead. Jarrett now with 2 touchdown throws here in the first half. And Allstate is proud to be a part of the team that comes together to do good by contributing to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kicked. To date, Allstate has contributed millions in scholarship funds. Well, no sooner do I talk about the momentum going to the Aggies that the Tigers rip it right back.
Listen, Auburn's a good team, Beth. They should be able to answer. They should be able to step up. If they want to be in the conversation at their ranking with Alabama and Georgia ahead, they should be able to come on the road and be able to bounce back from adversity, and that's what they did. Now Texas A&M, what's your answer? Your quarterback's provided a spark for you with Starkle coming in. You've got to be able to match this back and forth game. This is kind of shootout you're going to have.
Malzahn furious over there with the officials about something.
Never understand how coaches could be upset when after you score a touchdown. But I'm sure there's something going on that's got him kind of.
I think there might have been a situation after the extra point here.
I don't know. Does he want a flag thrown? Two guys getting in each other's face. I love the emotion. I love the intensity. As long as there's no punches being pulled and nothing's illegal, Beth, it's fair game.
Chance for a return here for Williams, and he will get out to the 20. We'll kick off your Week 9 with Sunday NFL Countdown at 10 Eastern tomorrow on ESPN. Some of Tom Brady's backups will share some of their stories. Of course, Jimmy Garoppolo traded to the 49ers this week. And also a story about how Carson Wentz went from hometown hero at North Dakota State with the Bison to an MVP contender with the Philadelphia Eagles. And of course, that leads into Monday Night Football and an old NFC North showdown, the Lions and the Packers from Lambeau Field. Coverage begins at 6 Eastern on ESPN with Monday Night Countdown served by Applebee's, then kick at 8:15. It's also available on ESPN2 in Spanish. What a big weekend in the NFL. Keith Ford will run it up the middle. A&M does have all 3 timeouts at their disposal, but it is, I believe, Auburn that will take one here.
Well, they're not going to be conservative, Beth. If Texas A&M is going to run the football, they feel good about what they're doing, and they want to get the ball back.
Well, because they also know they won the opening toss and deferred, so they will also get the ball to start out the second half. Beth Mullins along with Anthony Beck. Rocky Boyman with us today here in Aggieland. And the start of a big month for the Auburn Tigers with Georgia and Alabama still on the schedule, but they got to get the win here on the road.
They do, and they're going to have to defend against a different quarterback. I think it's been a great move for A&M to put Nick Starkel in, try to get some spark and buzz. They're able to score a touchdown with him. So it's going to be a back-and-forth game. Auburn's got a great opportunity, like you said, to set themselves up. But this is going to be a challenge here at Texas A&M.
Since joining the SEC, the home team has lost all 5 games in this series. And the Aggies are trying to end a 6-game losing skid at home against the SEC West. Had the lead momentarily, and Auburn took it right back with the 53-yard touchdown pass, Jarrett Stidham to Darius Slayton. And as you alluded to, Anthony, a quarterback change midway through this first half from Kellen Mond to Nick Starkel.
Well, if you're going to try to make Kellen Mond a pocket passer, he's probably not the quarterback of choice for this football team. Not his skill set. Starkel is his skill set, a guy that can throw the passes. And again, started slow last week, but coming into the game, immediately connecting with Christian Kirk, who hasn't caught a ball really downfield in quite a while. And then, of course, the shovel pass to the back, just little things that provide a jolt for this team.
I think what's particularly impressive, too, is the offensive line. They've had to block for 2 different styles of guys. That has to be really hard. Mond's a runaround guy. They bring in Starkel, and now that pass protection is blocking for a pocket guy.
Now big for the Auburn defense. They're out of timeouts, looking for a stop to force a punt here late in this first half. Starkel stepping up, and down he goes, caught from behind. Jeff Holland got him, and it's going to be 4th down.
Again, they went with the empty set in the back, and again, this isn't Starkel's MO, runner, and big tackle by Holland chasing him down, and it's going to give Auburn a little bit of time, but when you got a playmaker on the outside and a quarterback like Stidham, you feel good about your chances of maybe setting up a field goal here.
Clock continues to run. Down under 40 seconds. They can work it under 30. Starkel kind of got wrapped up and thrown down a little awkwardly. Couldn't tell if he was grimacing right there when he came off.
This will be a 30-second timeout.
Texas A&M will call a timeout. 29 seconds to go. And a punt coming. How about some around the SEC news and notes for you? Of course, Jim McElwain out at Florida. Randy Shannon taking over as the interim midway through McElwain's 3rd season. He's done. The first playoff rankings come out, and it's Georgia and Alabama going 1 and 2, the SEC on top. And then the big showdown coming up tonight, Bama hosting LSU. The Tide have won the last 6 meetings. Alabama and Georgia, 2 of 5 unbeatens to start the day.
Are there any teams in the SEC that can put a dent or at least put a challenge to Alabama? I want somebody to show up, punch them in the mouth, play for play, and keep the game close. Right now, Alabama doing all the right things. It's going to be tough for LSU, but they have the physicality and the players to do that.
LSU, then at Mississippi State and at Auburn. Those are their remaining games, and the punt is blocked by Auburn. The punt blocked by Auburn, and they recover it in the end zone. Nick Ruffin got up to block it, and it's a touchdown for the Tigers.
I'll tell you what, well played by Gus Malzahn here. Excellent job bringing the pressure on the outside. You see number 19 stick his arm out, Ruffin. This is huge, right up the middle. He shakes on the inside. And again, that front line didn't put any contact on him, made it easy, but they brought the pressure, and it was an advantage. Excellent job by the head coach.
Stidham enjoying the special team score. Sam Sherrod was the guy that recovered. Extra point good. Well played by Auburn late in the first half. They come up with the big special teams block, and they add to their lead. Well, the ESPN app is a fan's best friend. You can stream every ESPN and ABC college football game live, at home, or on the go. You'll get access to scores, news, and highlights all season long. Download the ESPN app to start streaming now. Here's what we got coming up on ESPN. Notable games the rest of the day for you.
Yeah, you know, I think this Virginia Tech-Miami game is interesting just because Miami's played so close with some teams maybe not at the level or par of where their ranking is. Virginia Tech can set themselves in a position here, Beth, with a nice showing and a potential win on the road to get in the conversation.
Last time the Tigers returned a block punt for a touchdown was Florida in 2006. They get the punt block and score here. And now it's the Tiger faithful that are making a little noise here at Kyle Field.
Just a huge momentum swing, Beth. Again, not wasting valuable seconds on the clock and now trying to, get themselves in position. Great job calling those timeouts, setting up the punt block, and taking that momentum into the locker room with you.
Auburn puts up 10 points in a minute and 16 seconds. Through the back of the end zone. Let's take a look at this blimp-worthy play brought to you by Goodyear.
Look at this, great job coming down the middle. Again, special teams is that phase, Beth, that's so important and vital. We always oversee it, and teams sometimes are reluctant and fall asleep and become lethargic. Right there, Auburn taking advantage of the situation and making a big play.
And it was the other number 32, Malik Miller, who was the guy that fell on it after Nick Ruffin got the big block. Final 20 seconds of the half. Starkel incomplete, tried to drop it off to Osborne.
Can't imagine, Beth, right now you'll get too aggressive here. Probably just hand it off, get into halftime, regroup, come out down to score.
And there it is, the draw to Williams. They'll pick up a few, get unceremoniously dumped by Deshaun Davis and Jeff Holland, and that'll take care of the first half of play. A&M had a brief lead, and Auburn, a couple of late strikes, a 21-13 advantage into the half, and now let's get you back to the studio.
All right, Beth, thank you very much. It is the Lexus halftime report.
Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by Vizio. Kyle Fields here in College Station, and a 21-13 lead, Auburn over A&M, and a big finish to that first half for Auburn.
Yeah, momentum swing is exactly what it was, and it started off with this pass. Darius Slayton, a former 100, 200-meter champion in high school, ran right by the corner. Beautiful catch, beautiful throw, and then not wasting any time into the half. Auburn calls timeouts. Nick Ruffin gets a huge block. They get the touchdown pass. That's how you bring some momentum into the locker room.
And some big changes as they were able to get Jarrett Stidham going through the air early, and then the run game started to come around nicely for them.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, when you look at this football team, they're well balanced. They can run, they can pass. That's what you like to see from an Auburn-type style offense. The question is, what are the answers, right? Texas A&M now, Kellen Mond is not going to start the second half. They're going to stick with Nick Starkel. Can he continue to make plays in the passing game? If he doesn't, the score could get a little bit out of hand. So, again, they got to stay close with this high-powered Auburn offense.
Beth Bowens, Anthony Beck, Rocky Boyman with you here at Texas A&M. And the Tigers with the momentum, and they'll get the first possession as we take a look at our first half stats, brought to you by Hooters. Auburn started to run it a little bit better. A&M over 100 yards rushing for the first time in their last 4 games. And the 14 points scored in the last minute and a half. Rock, you had a chance to talk with both coaches.
Yeah, I talked to Gus Malzahn about that block punt. He said we almost got one last year, so clearly they saw something in A&M's protection. And then for Kevin Sumlin, he stated the obvious. He said, look, we had the momentum that entire first half until that final 136, and that Nick Starkel can be the generator of getting that momentum back here in the second half.
We're going to direct snap it here to open up the second half, right to Kerryon Johnson, who picks up a couple. They've shown several different looks. The big plays, Jarrett Stidham, a couple of TD throws. One of those, the 53-yard touchdown on the post route by Darius Slayton. And then the punt block as well from the special teams unit at the end of that first half. They'll roll out Stidham here, and it's dropped. Hit the receiver right in the numbers, Sal Cannella. Deep down the depth chart at tight end.
Canella's got to catch that. That moves the chains. Dropping that ball. He was open early. Stidham came back late to him instead. Still hit him right in the gut, not able to pull it in.
3rd and 7. Against the 5-man pressure, the catch right at the yard to gain and stripped loose and out of bounds. After the catch was made by Ryan Davis, Devion Renfro with the coverage, and it looks like the spot's going to be a bit short.
Great knowing where the sticks are, number one, and watch this bullet pass. Look at the move off the ball. Catches it, past the line, comes down. They'll check it for sure. It's going to be close. But that's a heck of a throw and catch.
Going to check this.
Yeah, when he caught that ball in his hands in the air, Beth, a little bit on to pass the line. When he brought it to his body and his feet came down, and catches the ball. Again, I can't argue the spot.
Yeah, that's. Spot looks right, and they are going to rule it a first down.
Wow. Right, a chain link. Beth. That was close.
Home crowd trying to help out the defense again here. 1st and 10 Tigers from their own 35.
The ruling on the field is that the runner made the line to gain. The previous play is under further review.
While they check it out, we'll take a break and be back in a moment. Back here at Kyle Field, where they have reversed the call, and they ruled that the forward progress was short of the first down marker, so it's 4th down.
Yeah, I mean, Beth, he's up, he catches it. Now that ball looks to be even with the stick. Foot comes down right halfway between the 49 and the 50. You're cutting hairs there. You can go either way. Is it decisive? I'm not sure, but again, referee saw something that was clear to them.
You can't fumble it forward, by the way, out of bounds, but they were talking about the forward progress anyways. So the punter comes on. And Kirk with the fair catch back at his 18-yard line. 49 yards on that punt. So one of the developments today for this Texas A&M offense, a change at quarterback midway through the second quarter. They were down 7-3 when Kellen Mond went out and Nick Starkel came on right after those 4 consecutive 3-and-outs.
Yeah, Texas A&M wants to run the ball, but they got to move the chains and get some explosive plays in this offense. And right now, Mond trying to pass the ball early on was not helping them. Nick comes in and does a nice job passing the ball, getting it completed. Something he didn't do last week when he came into the ball game. So you're going to roll with him and see if he can continue to spark this A&M offense.
And Starkel, the redshirt freshman, was the starter, by the way, to open out the season. He started the opener against UCLA and then got hurt and was replaced by Mond. Incomplete, trying to dump it off underneath.
We just saw Jeff Holland with the pressure there. I talked with him before the game. He said the big difference between him this year and last year is he's studying much more film. He said particularly he watches the offensive line on that second kick slide and when the hands come up and when the punch comes out.
Give here's to Williams. Gain of 3. Trey Matthews with the stop. Now Holland, the junior from Jacksonville, coming into the game with 8 sacks. That was the 5th best in the country, but the most of anybody in the Power 5 leagues. Calling on some of that martial arts training in the offseason, right, for Sensei Mud. 3rd and 7 here. On the stunt, Starkel hit as he releases it, incomplete, out of bounds, and that was Holland getting right into the quarterback's grill.
Yeah, he comes right up the middle off the ball. They run a little twist game, and this one really affects Starkel. He comes down. Starkel's hobbling off. Nice job. Offensive linemen don't see it, and quarterback felt that.
Speaking of not seeing it, they do such a good job of moving him around. You could never get a beat on him. It looks like we got Starkel possibly hurt here, getting helped off the field.
Man, this is the scenarios right now for Texas A&M trying to make a difference just isn't good, and it's not a good sign, Beth.
And they may have to revert back to Mond. Keep an eye on that on the sideline. This is Roberts trying to get to the edge and bumped out of bounds around the 36-yard line. 55 on the punt, a return of 15, and another development with the Texas A&M quarterback situation.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Buick, proud partner of the NCAA.
You're watching the SEC on ESPN with the 12th man here at Kyle Field. Early in this 3rd quarter, and a 21-13 lead for Auburn, and Kellen Mond on your right was the starter today. Nick Starkel replaced him. Now he got hurt. The 3rd stringer is Jake Hubenak, who has appeared in a couple of games. So uncertainty as to who will come back on the next time they have the football. A receiver screen here for Eli Stove. Breaking tackles and ankles and down to the 35. 29 yards on that quick hitter.
What a throw by the quarterback. Puts it right in front of the receiver. able to catch and get up the field. You got to make the tackle when you're in that point. That's Carper, the true freshman, missing it.
Stidham on the keeper. He's got a first down inside the 15. And another terrific play by Chandler Cox to spring the quarterback for 24 yards.
I'll tell you, great play. Watch 27 lead the way. Comes up the field. Stidham works his block. And Cox, nobody talks about him. He's probably the best blocker in the SEC from the backfield.
Johnson hit by Watts in the backfield. Armani continues to make big plays for the Aggie defense. Both sides getting subs on here. 2nd and 12. Back into the red zone for the Tigers. Stidham already with a couple of touchdown throws. Another receiver screen for Stowe. Good block by Slayton down to the 5. Stidham now 15 for 20, and he's getting closer to a 200-yard day.
It's a big third down here, Beth. You got to hold this offense to at least a field goal attempt. Top receiver in the slot right here, number 23, Ryan Davis.
Stidham on the move. Touchdown! Ryan Davis coming underneath. Stidham's 3rd TD pass of the day.
Run a little two-man game, a little pick. 81 Slayton just trying to look for his defender. Nowhere to be found. Puts his hand up late, and wide open coming out on the out route is Ryan Davis, his top target.
4th touchdown of the year for Ryan. And the homecoming for Stidham keeps getting better back in the state of Texas. And a 28-13 lead.
It's been hard right now to stop this high-powered offense going right down the field, scoring a touchdown. Ryan Davis, and he is a happy camper on the sidelines.
Right now, you're watching that. While Dari, Gene, and Chris are watching this, doing that, and talking to this guy, which means you can watch it all later when you tune in to SEC Now, tonight on the SEC Network.
Well, the SEC Now is going to be real good down the stretch. You got 2 SEC teams atop the first release of the college football playoff rankings, with Georgia at 1 and Alabama at 2. Auburn still has to play both of those guys next week at home against the Dogs, as they have opened up the 28-13 lead. Jarrett Stidham, 16 of 21, 193 yards and 3 touchdown passes. Let's check in now to the studio with Adnan Vert.
All right, Beth Mowens, thank you very much. I want to update you on what's happening with Western Kentucky and Vanderbilt. That's right. Check out this play. Kyle Sherman and Trey Alex. Are you kidding me? One of the most ridiculous catches of this college football season. Certainly worthy of a look, and maybe a few more after that. The crazy carom, Vandy currently up 21-17 on ESPN3. Beth?
Oh, wild play for Vandy there. 28-13 here. Nick Starkel's coming back in. What have you got for us, Rocky?
Yeah, he's coming back in. When he came off the field, Beth, he looked terrible, but he went immediately to the exercise bike, loosened it up, and I saw him doing some pass drops behind the bench, moving around, looked pretty good. Now back in.
He got hurt on their last play, in their last possession, a 3 and out. They'll get it out of his hands quickly here. The handoff to Williams.
I think something to keep an eye on, Beth, with him. He takes the shot. Does that make him a little trigger happy a little earlier than maybe he wants to with the pressure? Gets him into trouble. See if he can become the same passer he was in the first half.
To the 30, Dontavius Russell with the tackle. There was Starkel trying to work it out on the sideline.
I just saw Starkel carry out a play fake with a run there, and it did not look good. So he's not a runner, but I don't anticipate seeing him running much here till the end of the game.
Kirk comes in motion to the near side. Starkel on the rollout. Into traffic, broken up. Roberts with the coverage on Osborne.
If he's not hurt, they're testing it because they just rolled him to the opposite side that he throws on, to the left. That's tough for a quarterback to come that way with some movement. It's a nice defensive job by 14 Roberts. Ball was thrown slightly behind the receiver to try to get him to that side with the catch, but Roberts able to poke it out. It was close, but good defensive stop.
Roberts will go back now as the deep man on the punt return. Nick Starkel, by the way, has now missed on his last 6 pass attempts. Shane Trapuka's had a punt blocked, recovered in the end zone for a touchdown by the Auburn special teams. And it's a timeout A&M. We'll take it with them. 28-13, Auburn on top. Fourth down coming up here for the Aggies. They have to burn the timeout before the punt right here. Let's see if we can get a quick count. Is there 10, 11 guys out there?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 12, Beth.
Yeah.
That would warrant a timeout.
So too many men on the field. They have to use their first timeout of the half. And now Trapuka will be punting it from his own 16-yard line. And the low kick hit off the back of one of his blockers in front of him. And it goes out of bounds at the Aggie 47-yard line. And a punt of just 16 yards.
They weren't going for the block. I almost feel like the blockers, they're in a good position. He just
Jared Johnson
kicked it right into the back for them.
Sometimes when you give up a block like they already have, it makes you gun shy. So definitely feeling that pressure in their head, even when there wasn't any there.
Marcus McLean was the Auburn player who got a little bit of a push on Johnson, but the punt was low, hits off a teammate, and sets up Auburn with a short field. Kerryon Johnson met in the backfield. Did some good work just to get back to the line of scrimmage. Kingsley Kiki brought him down. Actually, they're going to say he lost a yard. Kerryon today, 15 rushes, 58 yards. Doing it without the injured Cameron Petway today.
Again, this is Trapuka. He's a senior. He's got to get this ball off his foot and kick straight. Kicked it right into his own player, Beth. It's not good. You needed that kick to get out of the zone, making it too easy for Auburn right now.
Play action from Stidham, looking for Slayton, got behind the DB and hauls it in at the 5. He's their speed guy, and he's burned him twice deep. That's for 46 yards.
Runs right by him. I just can't stay up with him. We talked about it. I know Darius Slayton is fast, but you know, got to get a little bit off the receiver. Give yourself a chance.
Johnson puts that head down and rumbles across the goal line. Touchdown, Tigers. Plowed right over and right through Larry Pryor for 2 yards.
I don't think Texas A&M knows what hit him, Beth. Bad punt, right down the field. Start the half, right down the field. I mean, it's just been too easy. They started this game on defense strong and aggressive. Right now, making it very simple for this Auburn offense.
PAT from Legatron, Daniel Carson, and it's true. 35-13. How about a studio update, Adnan?
How about it, Beth? Let you know what's happening right now with Mississippi State on 2nd and goal. Down against UMass, but Nick Fitzgerald takes care of that. They're up 27-20. Just over 3 to go on the SEC Network. Beth, back to you and Anthony.
Thank you, Adnan. Mississippi State, of course, coming off the big win here against A&M last week. Now it looks like they have things in control. How about Beck's breakdown again with the long bomb, Anthony?
I wish I had something good for you, Beth, but it's just speed. He's just going to run right inside, stack the DB, and run right by him. There's no contact. There's nothing there, and there is nobody there in the safety to help out, coming a long way from the opposite side of the field. They're confident in Priest Willis, and then it just makes it easy. Keon Johnson runs right through the strong safety.
I can never understand when cornerbacks in college football don't use their hands. You can use them in college football. You can't use them in the NFL. You don't get that 5-yard ability to be able to push and jam them at the line of scrimmage. The rules allow you to use your hands and contact them. Why not take advantage?
That's 28 unanswered points now for Auburn.
When your fastest receiver that you have to go against, Rocky, is on the far side of the field, you better have some type of backup, a safety there that can get there quickly. If not, again, you're going to get that all day long from Auburn.
Kirk Williams back to receive the kick. Down 13-7 in that second quarter. All Tigers since. It's a big day and night for the ACC. First coming up at 3:30 Eastern. 4th-ranked Clemson and number 20 NC State from Raleigh in a big showdown there. And then later tonight, 13th-ranked Virginia Tech taking on number 10 Miami. The Canes looking to stay unbeaten. Also streaming live on the ESPN app. The winners of those two games in the driver's seat to get into the ACC championship game. And there are the numbers for the 4 quarterbacks in action.
Malik Rozier, I think a lot of people may be sleeping on him, Beth. Talk about Kelly Bryant, we talk about Jackson. He might be the best of all of them.
Williams gets the call. And of course, Florida State was the team to beat to open up the season. So many questions about Clemson, but they have answered quite a few of those with Bryant's play and that strong defense. And now Miami making some noise under Mark Richt back at his alma mater. You got a couple of ACC teams right there in the mix right now. It's still early though. Remember, over the course of the last 3 years, the team that opened up as number 1 has not gone on to win the championship. Only 5 of the 12 teams in the opening rankings of the season have stayed around to reach the playoffs. Or the playoff, excuse me. There's a first down for the Aggies.
It's been an important drive for Texas A&M to try to get something put together and keep their defense off the field. Auburn's gone down the field quickly twice already. They got to find a way to get this drive and continue it down so that they can give their defense a bit of a break.
Both Thunder and Lightning together now in the backfield. And that'll be Ford. Thunder burning his way out to about the 45 and picks up 5 more. 124 yards rushing now for the Aggies today. Starkle lost the handle, and down he goes. Back at the 37-yard line. Deshaun Davis was the first guy to get to him, and a loss of 5.
Saw a couple poor snaps early when Kellen Mond was in the game. McCoy's got to get them back to him. This is something you guys do every single day. Again, you got some big guys, defensive tackles right over your head, like Russell, number 95. That's a disruption.
Empty set here on 3rd and 10.
Yeah, let's watch number 4 here, Hollins. He's been the disruptor right now. See if he can force Starkle into an early throw.
Drops back into coverage. And the pass to Ratley, who breaks the tackle at midfield. Right down the seam, Damon Ratley, touchdown. And the quick strike for the Aggies. 62 yards.
Exactly what they needed, Beth. a little smile on Starkville's face.
Just 2.5 minutes off the clock, 75 yards in 6 plays. LaCamera splits the uprights, 35-20. 6:09 to go in the third.
Getting lined up here. They have some time, obviously, but how about Ratley? Just an underneath slant, poor tackle, miss, and he's off to the races. I love this kid, Ratley. What a great story, Beth. Special teams player all the way through. He's finally getting his shot as a senior. Makes a big play. Coach has been raving about him, and he's been patient, and it pays off for this young man.
62 yards for his first touchdown catch of the season. He's been one of their big play guys. Finally reaching the end zone. And it's back to a 15-point game, and you start doing the math, and you're back to 2 scores. Igbenogany and Martin will be the deep men here for Auburn. Igbenogany's going to bring it out. Slammed by the 12th man right at the 16-yard line. Cullen Gillespie. Let's check in with Adnan Burke.
All right, Beth, thank you very much. Updating you on what's happening right now with Wisconsin and Indiana. This is Jonathan Taylor here for the Badgers. Certainly he's been a beast for this team, which is unbeaten but not getting nearly enough love. If you ask Badgers fans, 24-17. Good one over on ABC.
One of the 5 remaining unbeatens coming into the day, and suddenly this place has come alive again.
Beth, early on in the game, the defense was high on fire, making stops. Offense needed to make a play. Now it's reversed. Can this defense step up and get off the field and put some of this smoke out with this Auburn offense?
Kerryon Johnson into the next level and out to the 24. Rocky?
I don't know what got this crowd more fired up, Beth. The touchdown or that big hit on the kickoff by the 12th man Gillespie. They went nuts when he made that big play.
Those are plays you need. You got to have guys come out there and make those big hits and get the crowd riled up. It's got to feed, though. The defense has to feed off of it.
Always special to wear that number 12 jersey here at A&M for the 12th man, and a first down pickup here for the Tigers. Of course, they also are very aware of the fact that Auburn lost that big lead already once on the road this year, up 20 on LSU, and it got away from them. Up 22 here in the second half, and then the quick strike for the Aggies, but right back to work for Johnson. And a first down out across the 40 to the 44. Picks up 16 more.
So patient, so patient. Then he gets out of bounds. Is that a late hit? I guess he's already, looks like he trips there down in that area down there. Glad he was able to get up and he's okay, but he's not going to miss many holes, Beth. He cuts back to the right when they're supposed to go left. Able to break a big one.
19 carries, 87 yards for Johnson. Chandler Cox in motion. And he'll lead the way for Johnson. Hurdles over one guy and out to the 46-yard line. And a helmet off for a defensive player, Miles Jones.
Yeah, Miles Jones takes a huge hit by the pulling guard on the outside. Braden Smith.
Yeah.
True freshman. Only 177 pounds, Beth. Wrapping around 71 right there on your screen. Just kind of unloads on him, knocks his helmet off. Good to see him get up, Beth.
Yeah. He'll have to come off for at least one play. And the helmet came off.
How many corners, Beth, are 6'4"? True freshman.
Yeah.
Great career moving forward for him.
303 pounds on a $177 right there. Senior and freshman tangling up. They do have some experience with Priest Willis, Antonio Howard, Renfro. Even though some of these guys are young, they've been playing quite a bit early on. On 2nd and 7, Stidham has the time, looking deep again. Overthrows Will Hastings. Another opportunity, though, for a wideout getting behind the DB.
This is an excellent route and just a great sell by Hastings. He's going to come in here, run inside, and then shoot up the field. Safety's going to buy that in cut just a bit and watch them stick his foot in the ground. He's got him there. Stidham usually been point accurate with that pass. And clean in the pocket. It's a quarterback's dream scenario right there, not able to connect.
Stidham crossing underneath is Ryan Davis, and a first down into A&M territory, picks up 18.
Putting a clinic on it, the receiver. Watch his out and in route. Underneath by the wide receiver, Davis. Hastings taking turns, running these precision routes.
Johnson cannot get the corner. Met by Dodson.
I think at some point Stidham's got to keep this ball. You see this defense closing down in on the dive. I think if Stidham pulls it like he did last week, there's plenty of rush yards for him.
Dotson is such an impact player for this defense. But he's only a sophomore, 6'2", 242. Got that NFL body already at such a young age, and he is an impactful guy at the linebacker position.
Did not miss a snap last week. Has been their leader in the middle and their leading tackler this season. Stidham through the hands of Hastings. Incomplete, and it's going to bring up 3rd and 12.
John Chavis and his defense has to find a way here. You're in a good scenario, 3rd and long. This crowd's going to be waving their towels here on this 3rd down. Big chance for them to get off the field here with a good rush. Player coming off.
Just did get him off the field. Johnson on the draw, and the Aggies were there to sniff it out, and they haul him down at the 35, and it's 4th down. Auburn now just 3 of 10 on 3rd downs today. Dodson with another tackle.
It's a great tackle, by the way. Johnson almost broke that to the outside, forcing a punt. Oh, no, they're going to go for the long field goal, Beth.
Well, they've got one of the best in the business. 12 career makes of over 50 yards with a long of 56.
Remember, they blocked one earlier.
From 52 yards out. And they got another one. Special teams plays coming from both sides. A pair of block field goal attempts for the Aggies, a block punt for a touchdown for Auburn.
I'll tell you, Amari Watts, he's the true leader. Watching the top left of your screen, they don't even block him, runs right through. He could have caught that off the shoe of the kicker. I'm telling you, momentum swings. This game's, that's what it's been all about. Special teams has played big roles for both teams, Beth, so far.
Back and forth goes the momentum. Watts spitting out that mouth guard and setting up the offense with the short field. Starkel fixing the chin strap of Keith Ford and now set to go. Trying to get Kirk some space, bumped out of bounds at the 44. Let's take a look back with our Buick Drive recap.
Yeah, the deep ball today, which has been great. Quick slant, off to the races. Ratley showing some great breakaway speed. Big play for the Aggies.
62 yards on that touchdown toss and run. Trying to pick that tempo up again and take advantage. Final 2 minutes of the third quarter.
It's a big third down, Beth. Want to make sure you get yourself in a great position here to potentially move the chains. You don't want a quick 3 and out after that big momentum swing on the block kick.
Ford, big hole up the middle, and the cutback, and then cut down at the 31, and a gain of 8.
Ford might need a little bit of a break here. Took a shot on the thigh, but listen, they got a good one that comes off. Travion Williams steps into the game, but that's a nice conversion, Beth. Fold them with the spread out look, and then come underneath with the run on third down.
Williams will replace him here, 1st and 10. Kirk is also joining them in the backfield, number 3. They'll get it to him, looking for a block on the edge. Knocked out at the 29-yard line. Let's go back to that injury.
Yeah, I mean, he gets hit low and he falls on that shoulder hard, so I'm sure those are the 2 areas we'll be checking out.
2nd and 8, pressure coming off the edge. Into a tight window, and the catch is made. The forward progress marked at the 26 to Kirk. He'll pick up 3 there.
Well, you said it, tight window, 2 guys clamping on Kirk. You know what? That means somebody else could potentially be open in a big opportunity. See if Starkle can find a guy outside of Kirk on this play.
3rd and 5. Kirk is slotted left. Starkle's looking right. And the catch is made by Ratley for the first down inside the 15. Down to the 12-yard line. And a 14-yard gain. Jamel Dean missed the tackle.
It's like Ratley is raising his hand saying, I want to be that guy today. That other receiver that can make those big plays for Aggies.
And they get off a snap before the end of the quarter. No. We will head to the 4th quarter here at Texas A&M. The Aggies threatening, down 15 to 14th ranked Auburn. 12th man trying to help out here in Aggie land. A big day so far for Jared Stidham, but Texas A&M is on the move.
Feel the thunder, lightning and thunder.
Finishing up the war hymn amidst the Corps of Cadets, and 100,000 strong today at Kyle Field. A few minutes ago, things weren't looking so good. A 22-point Auburn lead, but then the 62-yard touchdown pass, Starkle to Ratley, and now they are threatening once again. And some of those folks who were thinking about possibly leaving are staying put. Ratley and Kirk wide to the left. They'll run it to the right. Williams cut down at the 8-yard line. That was Trey Matthews sending a message.
How happy is Auburn having this guy back? Tweaked his hammy a few games ago, and now he looks like he's back to full strength.
Nick Starkle coming on to replace Kellen Mond midway through the 2nd quarter when the offense got stagnant. Trying to make this a 1-score game. To the end zone, incomplete. Rogers didn't have a chance there. Too far out of bounds. Javaris Davis had the coverage. Another guy who's come back from injury in the secondary.
Rogers, a young player, true freshman, but he's 6'3", got tremendous amount of wingspan. They were trying to get him a high ball, but wasn't able to get off the press press coverage.
So now you're looking at a 3rd and 6. They can get a first down at the 2.
They could. Beth, I mean, listen, I'm keeping my eyes on one man. Christian Kirk. This guy lives in the end zone. He feeds off it. They might try to run a little corner route or something to get him open.
This is Ford going to run with it. Down to the 4-yard line, and that'll be short. 4th down coming up. Nick Coe with the stop.
Well, running that ball obviously allows them in their mind. They're saying, look, we're going to go for it on 4th down. Got some momentum, Beth, pushing it down the field. This crowd is going to urge them on. And they're going to go for it.
4th and 2.
Tell you what, Jamon Osmond down the bottom of your screen. He's been calling for the fade ball. Look for him to possibly try one back corner of the end zone.
Yeah, he's right here. Another true freshman. Big guy, 6'2", 220.
Look that way and then into the dirt intended for Christian Kirk, and Auburn holds. As Starkle missed the mark, and the Tigers will take over on downs.
I think initially, Beth, he wanted to go right to Osmond. When he came back, I think he saw an adjustment to the defense, wasn't able to make the play. Great stop by this Auburn defense. Coach Malzahn loving his effort by the defense.
You're watching the SEC on ESPN. The 4th down stop by the Tigers right in front of their fans down there in that end zone. And they maintain the 35-20 lead. 3 touchdown passes and 256 yards through the air for Jarrett Stidham.
Look for a heavy dose now of Kerryon Johnson in the backfield.
Just 9 yards shy of 100 for the day, and he may have got it right there. And that will get him 101 now on 23 carries. You thought it'd be around 20 to 25, right?
That's his average, 23. We got 13 minutes left. He might get 10 more in this game, Beth.
At what point are you comfortable enough to take him out and say, let's make sure he's healthy for Georgia next week?
That's a great question. 4th quarter, still got some time left. They're pinned back. Texas A&M is not out of this thing by any question. So, again, you got to trust your senior.
Here is Johnson again, and Armani Watts hauls him down in the backfield. Rocky?
Yeah, that's one of the things. Johnson, throughout his career, every year he's been injured, suffered one thing or another. I worry about him getting so many carries. We've not seen any of the other running backs today step up and carry any sort of significant weight.
Yeah, Cam Martin with 4 carries. Those came early.
And they're freshmen and sophomores. Martin and Barrett, a freshman, Beth. Again, this kind of game, hard to put those guys in this kind of scenario.
You certainly want to secure it so that those Georgia and Alabama games still have some significance in terms of an SEC championship and a possible playoff bid if you're Auburn. Stidham's going to go for Slayton, and there should be a flag there, and there is.
Yeah.
Miles Jones tangled up with him.
Slayton's been working the corners all day long, and instead of letting them run by him, looked like Jones, 6'4", pulled him. So Jones falls down. I don't know if he's got a hold of him from that point there. They both go down.
Pass interference. Number 10 of the defense. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
But anytime one-on-one, Beth, the receiver goes down. See his left hand on his arm. Falls in the back of his leg. He's going to get that flag.
Slayton, of course, hauled in the 53-yard touchdown pass earlier today. There have been 4 pass plays of over 20 yards this afternoon for Stidham. And Stidham will keep. Dives out across the 30 to the 31. Picks up 7 more, and the clock will continue to roll.
A nice play design. We've seen Stove and several receivers come across the jet sweep action. We know Johnson back there has gotten plenty of balls, and all of a sudden, bam, you fake both guys. Stidham's able to get you a solid 7 yards.
Johnson, nice hole right up the middle. First down out across the 40 as he picks up 13 more. He's going to be right around his average of 120 yards per game, which is best in the SEC, 13th in the country.
No rush now for Auburn, right, Beth? Try to eat up some of this clock, get a fresh set of downs. A&M actually had an extra body in the box, still weren't able to stop Johnson on that run.
No rush, but plenty of rushes, perhaps. Keep that clock rolling. Johnson, nice bounce across midfield. Look at the strength of carry on. Down at the 34, he got 22 more. And he just ripped Tucker right out of the way.
Watch the off arm, the right arm. Watch out, violent. Boom. Throws a defender. He's an aggressive runner, man. They're running between the tackles where it hurts his defense. And the aggression and the angry style. And he's still in the game, Beth. He's not taking a break. He's a workhorse. 131 yards today. That's why he leads the SEC in rushing.
Didn't have his buddy Cameron Petway today, who's out for a period of time with a shoulder injury. No timetable for his return, but Carry-On's got his back. Put a tight end in the backfield to help block for him. And Johnson picks up a couple more.
Somebody's got to give this guy a break, right? I mean, how many carries can you go? He's not running free. He's moving around defenders. He's got his hand on his hip. He's like, all right, give me a blow, coach. Give me a snap, for crying out loud. One play. Gotta love it, man. 27 carries. I want to talk about taking a workload.
Second and 8. Aggies in desperate need of a stop. Still within striking distance. Ryan Davis, who's got a touchdown catch today. Gained just one, so here's the chance for A&M. Third, looks like about 7.
And the clock continues to go down, Beth. This would be a brutal conversion for Auburn. For the Aggies defense, if Auburn's able to make this conversion on this drive.
They're only 3 of 10 today on third downs. Stidham buying some time. The throwback, the one-handed grab by Johnson. First down to the 20-yard line. What a play by Carry-On to haul that in, and he's slow to get up.
Yeah,
after a hard hit to his lower body.
He needs a blow, Beth. He's got to come out of the game. He's been taking these hits all day. Watch this guy. Yeah, he runs the ball. All of a sudden, they bring it back. Willie has one-handed concentration. He's got some big paws there pulling that in. Wow, that's great concentration. Got some big uglies out there making the plays. Finally comes out of the game, gets a break.
You hope that's just out of breath if you're an Auburn fan. Cam Martin is in at tailback. Martin for a few up the middle. 32 touches overall today for Johnson. That includes 5 catches.
Can't pour enough fluids down this man's throat right now.
Yeah.
They got several guys getting them rehydrated, getting some air. You know, I got to credit the offensive line too, Beth. I tell you now, they've been mauling. You put these kind of drives together, starts taking the will out of your defensive line. Heck of an effort so far with the big uglies up front.
This was all off of a 4th down stop down inside their own 5-yard line. And driving it down the field and grinding it out. Bleeding time off that clock. Cam Martin with the carry. What's at stake for Auburn? Again, remember, they're ranked 14th in the first playoff ranking. But twice in 3 years, a team has come from lower than that to work their way into the playoff by the end of the season. What they are fighting, though, is there hasn't been a 2-loss team. They could have the schedule set up to make that case if they can beat Georgia and Alabama. A big if. But they'd like to have that chance leaving A&M today. Grinding it down to the 5-yard line goes Martin. Carrion says, you got it. Good job, buddy. Thumbs up.
I'll tell you, they got some big fullbacks on this team. We talked about Chandler Cox, but number 99,
Spencer Nye,
6 foot, 270 pounds. Barely fit that number in the back of his jersey. Watch this guy lead block.
Martin knows where he is and follows him up the middle, down to the 4. And now it's 3rd and goal. And Carrion says, hey, get me and Chandler Cox back in there. We want to finish this thing.
He's got to get them touchdowns up, man. He don't have enough on the season, Beth.
He's got one today, his 15th of the season. 2nd best in the country.
Well, they faked a little play action earlier in the game.
There's his buddy Chandler Cox out there, too, to help out. Instead, it's Stoll looking for the edge, diving for the pylon. Looking for the signal, and now there it is. Touchdown, Auburn Tigers.
A lot of speed here. Stovey's been playing, he's running this play all day. Doesn't touch out of bounds. Puts the ball over the goal line in between the pylon. Great lead block up front by 27 Chandler Cox, and an excellent effort with speed for Stove.
What a drive. 13 plays, 96 yards, and 8 minutes, 17 seconds off the clock. Carlson finishes it up. 42-20. Tigers trying to ice it.
ESPN College Football is presented by Vizio, maker of award-winning 4K displays.
What a drive to try and close it out for Auburn, and what a day on the ground for Kerryon Johnson. The power and the strength muscling his way. 27 carries, 133 yards today, Rocky.
This was great. During the break there, a trainer came up to Kerryon, tried to give him some Gatorade. He waved it off, said, no, I'm good. And the trainer said, no, you are going to drink this. Forced it on him anyway. They said, we need you next week, brother.
Next week would be the Dogs coming to town. They'll head home after this and finish up with 3 straight home games. Georgia, Louisiana Monroe, and then the Iron Bowl. So you've still got matchups against numbers 1 and 2 in the country, and a potential to end a couple of undefeated seasons, depending on how things play out.
Well, just looking at the Georgia matchup, Beth, you got a run game and you got a pass game that complement each other. You know, that's something to me that can bring some real conflict in that matchup.
Williams is going to bring it out. Breaks a tackle, and Williams into the clear. All the way down inside the 30-yard line for the Aggies. Still hope for Starkle and company. 4:55 to go and a 72-yard return. Special teamers continue to make plays. A&M may not be done yet. Reminder that coming up next here on ESPN, J.T. Barrett and 6th-ranked Ohio State, fresh off their memorable comeback win over Penn State last week. They will meet the Iowa Hawkeyes in Iowa City. Not an easy place to go to win. Today at 3:30 Eastern here on ESPN. It's also streaming live on the ESPN app. Also check out the best new tradition in college football, the wave to the Children's Hospital that the fans and players do in Iowa City. Aggies looking for some quick points. Down 22. The pass incomplete intended for Damon Ratley. Loss here for the Aggies would put them at 5-4 and an even 3-3. And it would be a 7th consecutive home loss to an SEC West foe. Already seen Alabama and Mississippi State come in here and win this year. And it's been the road team that has dominated this series. For Kevin Sumlin's crew, they go out of conference next for New Mexico, and then a couple of roadies at Ole Miss and at LSU. Pass broken up by Roberts, incomplete. Intended for Rashad Paul, and it's 4th down.
Roberts made some nice plays today for the secondary of Auburn. Again, getting Trey Matthews back 28. Now Roberts can be a little more aggressive in their coverage. It's paid off for them. It's 4th down, Beth. Got to find a way to convert.
Need to get to the 18. Pressure coming. Starkel's pass incomplete, and the Tigers will have to wait and see about the penalty flag on the coverage.
They're going to get Davis here, number 6, and he doesn't get his head around soon enough.
Pass interference. Defense number 6. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
It's 6-on-6 here. Paul going up, got his hands on him. Doesn't know where the football is, but he's got to grab a hold of him right there, and they're going to call that. Ball's kind of in that vicinity.
We'll get him a fresh set of downs here. From just outside the 10, spotted at the 11-yard line. 4:12 to go. Keep it on the ground with Ford down to the 5-yard line. Pick up a 6 there. Under 4 minutes to go. Ford buried in the backfield by Jeff Holland.
There's a reason why he's number 3 in the SEC in tackles for a loss. One of the best in sacks. He finds ways to get in the backfield, and you know what, Beth? When you don't block him, it's even easier for that man.
Yep. Looking at a 3rd and 7 here. What a return to the state of Texas for Jarrett Stidham, where he grew up and played his high school ball and started out his collegiate career before ending up at Auburn in a timeout. Texas
Timeout, Auburn.
We'll take the break here with 3:22 to go and be back for the finish in a moment.
Adnan Burke letting you know that coming up next, we got Urban Meyer and Ohio State, fresh off of that thrilling victory against Penn State. Now they have their eyes set on Iowa. That game coming up from Kinnick Stadium just about 28 minutes from now, keeping what should be a great college football afternoon right here on ESPN. Beth?
Oh, they're right back in the playoff. Chase Adnan coming in at 6th in the first college football playoff release this week. Of course, the next one will be coming your way on ESPN Tuesday night. Still a lot of football ahead of us today. On 3rd down, it's dropped. And here comes 4th down. Travion Williams. He's run for over 100 yards today, but couldn't hang on to this pass.
Williams, pretty good hands for a back right there. Just the velocity, and new quarterback. Mond usually throwing little balls most of the reps during the week. Different ball coming at him there with Starkle.
4th down. Pressure coming right up the middle. Starkle directly for the touchdown. Second of the day for Damon.
It's the same play they ran within the field where he caught his long touchdown, Beth. Except now in the red zone, they get a little close, a little pick with a slant underneath. Nobody's home. Great route, good execution.
Second score. Starkle with his second touchdown throw. They may have found a starting QB moving forward with Starkle today. Let's take a look at our Wells Fargo innovations of better. You know, they've got nearly 1,400 televisions around the stadium. TVs in the concourse, you can control those with the TV Control app. The IT department takes care of them in the concourse. But in the suites area, they are controlled by the occupants of the suites by a phone app. Each suite TV has an ever-changing PIN number for security reasons that changes every 2 minutes. You put your PIN in and you can watch something different on all of your television screens in your suite. Our Wells Fargo innovations of better. This guy might be trying to, is he checking in on the Mississippi State finish perhaps on that television?
Yeah, he's right there, dialing it in.
Hold on, guys, I'm getting my passcode here. I'm going to switch the channel on you up there to another game or maybe some cartoons, try to mess you up.
Rocky, you just changed the big screen,
the
Rocky.
Jumbotron's off.
The Jumbotron's, oh my God. Pretty cool technology, absolutely.
Well, this is year 3 of the renovations around Kyle Field that have built this into one of the best in all of college football. 4th biggest in terms of attendance, over 102,000. Behind Michigan, Penn State, and Ohio State.
Look for some type of onside kick here, Beth. Something high, maybe a bouncer. See if they can regain possession.
They've made plays on special teams today. A couple of blocked field goal attempts. And this one will be controlled by Ryan Davis at midfield. Adnan Verk, what you got for us?
Well, Beth, just want to update you what's happening with regards to Mississippi State taking on UMass. It's a 4-point game, and then check out this huge special teams plays. Dedrick Thomas, the 82-yard punt return for the touchdown. Got a couple of blocks, and he did the rest. Bulldogs currently up by 11, under 4 to go on the SEC network. Beth?
It's been a good start to the day for these special teamers around the SEC. We've had a punt blocked for a touchdown for Auburn today. A couple of blocked field goals from the A&M special teams. And now the Tigers will try and finish off the final 3 minutes here. They still have Kerryon Johnson in the football game, but what a day for Chandler Cox.
I say nobody's going to build a package for Chandler Cox, but you know what? We are, because he is a guy that brings his lunch pail. He blocks you. He comes outside and spurts you. He'll block the edge against defensive ends. 6'1", 235 pounds, does it all for this team to spring guys every single play. And you know what? Sometimes you got to throw a dog a bone, and he got a pass early on in the game today. I love this kid. Nobody talks about him. Nobody writes stories about him, but today he's a difference maker for this team.
And Anthony, people under the age of 30 might not even realize what position he is. The fullback is a dying breed in today's football, but I'll tell you what, so versatile, and a guy that if he continues to develop is going to have a great career in the National Football League.
If you're going to run for over 200 yards a game, you love guys like that. They have done it again today. After a slow start in the first quarter, Auburn now 218 on the afternoon. Look at the hardware he's got too on that left arm. And later tonight, after Arizona and USC wrap things up on ESPN, be sure to stick around for SportsCenter. They'll break down Bedlam. Also, Kirk Herbstreit will reveal his new top 4. And what say you about Saquon Barkley? An update on the Heisman race. SportsCenter with Linda Cohen and Stan Verrett. tonight after football. Saquon slowed so far today by a thunderstorm with some lightning. And that game was delayed for an extended period of time against Michigan State. 3-hour delay, we're being told.
Comes the Wildcat, Beth, trying to secure this game.
Johnson will keep. And he'll get the first down. See if they're going to bring him to the sideline now and call it a day for Carry-On at 145 yards rushing on his 29th carry. And as it stands, Anthony, they accomplished what they wanted to do. They came in here and got a win.
Yep.
And their monster month can roll on and head back home for their last 3 games, including Georgia and Alabama.
Yeah, what a game. I think it really is a good matchup, Beth. You're going home, and this offense has got a lot of good things to see on tape. And I think it's going to be a great matchup.
Path to the college football playoff will roll through the plains in the coming weeks. For Texas A&M, you're going to fall to 500 in conference. You've been playing a lot of young guys, including at the quarterback position. And Nick Starkel came on to relieve Kellen Mond in the second quarter this afternoon. And some decisions moving forward, but look at the race. Georgia in the East, Alabama and Auburn in the West, and what they have remaining on their slate. If Georgia wins today and Kentucky loses, by the way, they will win the East and be into the championship game.
And Beth, listen, you know, we're talking about they got to play Georgia and Bama. That's not going to seal the deal. You got one more game. You got to win the SEC championship, in my opinion, after that, which could be a rematch game, potentially against Georgia. So again, it's not just as simple as winning 2 games, but again, it's laid out perfect for this team to do some damage.
Alabama, of course, has the showdown at home against LSU tonight. Bama standing on top right now at 5-0. Auburn and LSU, 1 down in the loss column. As we work our way into the final minute and a half, it's Cam Martin. And we can also put a button on the day for Jarrett Stidham. His long journey out of Stephenville, Texas. An original commitment to Texas Tech, then a year at Baylor. The controversy there, the firing of Art Briles. Stidham left, went the JUCO route, but just to go to class, wasn't playing there last year, and now shows up at Auburn as the starter.
And those are some great numbers, Beth. And you know what? He probably left another 75 yards on the field, missed the deep ball twice in this game, wide open. So I'll tell you what, this kid's special with his arms, got good arm talent. 3 touchdown passes today for Stidham. We'll continue to grind it out in the final minute. Let's see when they start that play clock. One more snap to come. And another big day for Carry-On Johnson to help out Jarrett. Yeah, here he is throwing the ball on the move. We talked about that skill set, extending plays, and then he's been super accurate this entire year, throwing it up to his fastest receiver, Slayton. And then, again, rolling to the left. That's not easy. Getting it to his #1 reception receiver in Davis.
Tigers will improve to 7-2, 5-1 in the league. And the hope still alive in the SEC and in the playoff race. Road win for Auburn as they come to Kyle Field for the 3rd straight time and go home victorious. 42-27, the final score. On a day where Stidham got it done through the air, Johnson on the ground, and how about that offensive line? Austin Golson, Mike Horton, Casey Dunn, Braden Smith, and Darius James leading the way.
And you can really say right before the half, utilizing timeouts properly, Gus Malzahn really changed the momentum of this game with that block punt. Just really going into the halftime, really turned the tables for Texas A&M.
Down to the field now in Rocky with Gus Malzahn.
Coach, you come in here, Texas A&M, they get the momentum early, but you were able to grab it back. How were you able to do that here today?
Yeah, there was a lot of ups and downs. Real proud of our team on the road against a very talented team. I think really the key thing that stuck out to me was we stopped them down here in the red zone. We went 96, and I couldn't be happier.
How about your running back, Kerryon Johnson, carrying the load for you today? You're going to need him coming up. These next 2 games are big as well.
Kerryon Johnson is one of the best running backs in the country. He does it every week, week in, week out. He needs to be in that mix, talking about all those other guys. A lot of heart, a lot of courage, and he's making us go.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
145 yards today for Kerryon Johnson. And that big 96-yard drive he mentioned, off of a 4th down stop, they rolled down to seal it late in the 4th. Up next, Ohio State and Iowa. But now let's get you back to Adnan in the studio.
All right, Beth, great.